Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Music Therapy Laz here with our friend Robbie Stingle. Do you have
Hello,
perfect
everybody.
pitch, Robbie?
Oh yeah,
Do you have perfect pitch?
I don't claim to be perfect at anything.
I'm just wondering if you know what note is this?
Oh, I'd say that probably sounds like an E to me.
All right, let's see on the guitar. Where's the guitar? Dude, you nailed it! Wow, you do have perfect pitch. All right, Robbie.
Yeah.
Again, astounding us with your amazing abilities. Welcome everybody to the Music is Therapy show here on the Music Therapy Laz channel. I just, this whole YouTube thing is quite the journey, isn't it? Isn't it, Robbie?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to be talking about here today on this show. That I'm kind of this is a running theme of sorts. I think that this show is all about, which is how does music affect our lives, right? How are we strengthened by it, inspired by it. You, of course, in the last 3 months, roughly, right? I was going to ask you questions about that. How much it's made a difference in your life, how it shapes our lives, right? Music and how it shapes our lives. That's what we're here to talk about. We got 15 people in here interested in this subject. And of course, we're hoping more and more will show up as the day goes on. And why don't we go ahead and start off the show, with hellos to all the people in the chat, because they're why we're here. Johnny Beane, he's at the top saying, "Where is everyone?" Well, Johnny, I don't know. They're coming. They'll eventually show up. And Johnny is heading to the Starbucks. He actually didn't stick around too late last night, but he did come to the party. He got here rather late. Johnny, where's that thing? But I'm glad that he made it. And he had the best "I'm late to the party" excuse I ever heard. Wait for this one. Can you guess what it is, Robbie?
Traffic.
No, that's like the typical one. This one's like way out of left field. Never would have guessed. Has nothing to do with Ned. I thought maybe it has something to do with Ned. Maybe a bowl got torn apart in the room and it's all over the place and have to clean it up. No. One of the chickens is sick, and they had to feed the chicken with a syringe. So that meant he or his wife, I think his wife probably had to hold the chicken, because Johnny's not touching anything with his hands, so he's not holding the chicken. So his wife is holding the chicken, and then Johnny is feeding the chicken with a syringe because the chicken wouldn't eat. And hopefully they can bring the little guy or girl, because it's a hen probably, right? Because otherwise it's a rooster, not a chicken, right? So hopefully they'll bring the little hen back to shape. But that was the best, most out of left field, "I'm late to the party" excuse I've ever heard in my entire life.
Well, it's true though.
It's true. That's what makes it even more, great. Anyway, so thank you, Johnny, for coming to our birthday party last night, which we also mentioned to some of the party goers that Johnny also had his birthday on the same day as mine, not on the very same day in the same year, but the same day of the year, June 15th. And my sweetie's birthday was on Friday, the 23rd. So we had 3 birthday celebrations, and there's a lot of summertime birthdays. So we had birthday, people talking about their birthdays a week ago, or it's a week from now, or whatever. A lot of summertime babies. I wonder why that is, Johnny. I mean, Robbie. I'm so used to saying Johnny.
I don't know. I never had kids.
Okay. Well, I have a theory. I think it's really cold in the wintertime. People are snuggling together more often than not, and stuff happens that later in summertime, after the winter is gone, produces children. In a nutshell, that's it. I love your shirt, that pasty shirt, by the way.
Yeah, paste.
Those of you in the chat who don't follow Robbie's pasty or paste story, I actually looked it up online, and of course it has some British sounding woman that's saying pasty. Pasty is the proper way. I've never heard it called pasty ever. In all my life, I've heard drummers from Colorado to California and in between Not once did I hear anyone ever call it pasty. And why would you want your drums to be called pasty? It doesn't sound like a drum. When you hit a drum, it doesn't go like paste. It goes ping, spang, like hit that gong. You know what I mean? You're gonna do that at the end of the show, I hope. The gong.
Well, I mean, they
We
make
have to have the
symbols.
gong.
They're symbols, but
Right.
it's
There's a
a
difference
it's a
between
family name. The family
right.
made symbols in Russia, and the Russians got all revolutionary, so they had to leave there. They went to Poland, and they had to leave Poland because of the Germans. They actually went to Germany, and then they had to leave Germany because of the Germans. And finally, they settled in Switzerland, and that's where.
Let's be clear. It's not the Russians or the Germans. It's certain Russians and Germans that maybe are behaving badly, right? Because in a group, let's say
we're talking World War II here. Yeah,
we're talking World War II. Yeah,
right.
And the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia and all the stuff that happened then and afterwards too was quite tragic, for those parts of the world. And yeah, a lot of people suffered by that. And that's how I ended up being born here in the United States. My parents were also immigrants that both escaped Hungary because of the communist invasion and then their revolution against it and all. And yeah, it is what it is. It's a sad state of affairs when you see, these things happening in the world, and it's happening even right now all over the place, right?
Well, I don't.
Oh, I've got a picture for everyone here. Oh, this is really cute. I wonder if I can post a picture. This picture, I can do it on my phone, can't I? I don't know. How do I show a picture on? How do I do that? I don't know. Johnny just sent the picture of the chicken, and the chicken looks like he's doing okay. Anyway, if I knew how to do this YouTube stuff better, if I had more time to really dig deep in how to edit and do these things, which I will eventually. I could show you this cute little picture of.
Yeah, chicken looks like she's holding up.
Yeah, looks okay. Well. You saw a picture of the chicken? That's
yeah,
great. Yeah, it's a beautiful chicken too. All right, thanks, Johnny, for the chicken picture.
Okay, I could do that.
Chicken pics. Anyway,
I got this. Check it out.
You got this? All right. Oh, you can just hold it up with your phone. There you go. Let's solo you. Hold on. Oh, a little closer. Put it in front of your face so your face isn't what it's focusing on. There you go, right there, and don't move. That's about as good as we're gonna get. It looks like
so you got a little glare on the photo.
Bucket of mush.
But
yeah,
no, the chicken looks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't get
your
any
camera's
better.
focusing on everything except the chicken, but it's all right. Don't worry. Your camera's probably too far.
That part of the photo is a little bit lighter on it. It's.
So really, best excuse for being late I ever heard. And then we have Dan Gorman. Oh no, actually, sorry, Mike Olson right afterwards, saying hi to Johnny as well. And don't forget Robbie, Mike. He's the man of the hour here. And then we've got Dan Gorman, Ryan Hall, and we've got Janice Lala, who, I'm sorry, Janice, I should have probably told you last night that, but we were partying all day and night yesterday, and so I didn't have too many moments of clarity. Let's put it that way. To give you a quick message that, hey, I'm going to have Robbie on solo for this interview style Music is Therapy show today, which we're going to commence in really quickly here. Oh, yeah, 1-2 is also here. I hear that Charles 75N was not doing his show for some reason. I forget exactly why. So, I could have started earlier, but I barely got started at 10 o'clock because we were partying all night last night. And then Robbie's looking for Laz. Where's Laz? Anyone see me? I managed to wolf down a quick little breakfast meal because my stomach was definitely needing something in it before starting the show. BC Rich is here also. Does he have a question? There were tons of Ryans when I was growing up, and it's a popular name. Okay. Yeah, I think it was indeed a popular name. And then what else we got? We got William De Silva also here. Right on. I'm going to actually, today, Sunday, is our day to relax and do nothing, Robbie. So,
well, there's hardly that for me. I had to make a music video, and then I did my Sunday Sounds show, and then it got set up for this. So I've been kind of running and gunning since about 7:30
That's awesome.
this morning.
I'm going to actually finally package up all the packages that I was supposed to send last Monday, package them all up and make them ready to ship out tomorrow. So finally, after months of waiting, William DeSilva and others will receive their packages with all the things that they asked for and more. All right. And I think we got pretty much everybody that's in here, right? It's 19 people. People are shuffling in slowly. Six Fingered Assault also here. Mark's Gas Station. What's up, dude? Good afternoon from his part of the world. Lucas is in the evening doing something with L&M Guitar Corner with his family. Watering the plants, I think. Yeah, all right, dude. I got to do some of that today, too. Got plants to water around the building here that I manage. And then we've got Mr. Mick also here. Right on. Robbie, he says. That's right. And I think that we got pretty much everybody. Stephen Franklin also in here. We know that there's a particular guy watching this show, last name Palmer. That'll probably pop in at the end, as usual. And Hand 36 Solo. So sure, I can't say it. Hand 36 Solo. Always been pasty. Okay, so see, there you go. And you got a controversy still alive in the pasty.
Well, I mean, if you look at the number of paste products I currently own, which is the really hard to find rare sound plates, 2 paste gongs, and I've got the paste sound inch 15-inch hi-hats, the paste 16-inch crash, and 2 paste ride crash rides are my current paste collection of cymbals.
Right.
But you could say it whatever way you want.
I've never heard it said pasty before, and what nationality or cultural heritage is that name in the first place?
They originally came from Russia.
Yeah, but like if they're from Russia back in those days, that could have been like a lot of different countries, and people immigrated all over the place. There were, all kinds of nationalities, all kinds of, peoples from all over living in Russia too. So hey, Presley, California Customs, what's up?
Well, my point is, if you don't actually own any paste cymbals, how can you tell me how to say the thing? Not only that, but when I ordered the 30-inch gong in 1978, I talked to people in Switzerland, and they said their name was paste. So
yeah, well, here's the thing. I've heard people call a Gibson Les Paul a Les Paul. So for me, I've never heard it said that way until watching YouTube and hearing people from the East Coast call it's a Les Paul. Yeah, I have a really nice Les Paul. And to me, it just sounds weird saying it's a Les Paul rather than Les Paul with the accent on the last word. So I've always known it as being a Les Paul. Yeah, I got a Les Paul. Then when you hear it being said, yeah, I got a Les Paul, and it's pretty good. It just sounds weird to me. Yeah, and Mike Olson says some people call it a Les Paul. That's right, a Les Paul. So how you pronounce it may even depend on like demographically where you live and how people pronounce things. Just like in the little Isles of Britain, right? Small country, but quite powerful for many reasons. Their navy had a lot to do with that, and their organizational skills and law, being able to put down, common law, I think really helped them establish themselves as a way of keeping their way of life, or whatever you want to call it, their control over the world. I don't know if you want to call it control or whatever, but you know what I mean. Their effects on the world. But the bottom line is that in Britain, you can go from 50 miles one direction to the other, and you can't even understand what the other guy's saying. Even their very own people can't understand each other because of how they speak their own language differently. So let's chalk it up to that, Robbie. What do you say?
Hey, it's cool. I mean, I always thought they were the best cymbal. I
gotta agree with you that I've played lots of different drum cymbals in my time, and yeah, they're still doing pretty good. The Meinl, like this thing right here is a Meinl, right? Pretty good as well, but and that's a percussive instrument of sorts, isn't it? Or is it?
Yeah.
Anyway, but I think it depends on where you live in the world and how people say things, and that's the way it is, right? Sprockets. Oh, that's so funny. That always cracks me up. Michael Myers, man, that guy's a genius. Oh my God. All right, so why don't we get right into the show, Robbie? What do you say? What do you say? What do you say? So, one of the things I wanted to ask you, because this is going to be kind of an interview of sorts, because I'm fascinated by your story. We chatted a bit last Monday, this previous week, and talked a little bit about your history in life and some of the struggles that you have and still have to right now, hereditary struggles that you have to deal with. That's not your fault, and that affect your life in a really great way. And I think it's easy for people out in the world to make their own judgments based on their perception of their reality or the world. And it's always nice to hear from a person their own story, so a little bit more about maybe the reasons why things are the way they are, and hopefully get some understanding so that not only you but they can also feel better about understanding each other, right? We can all understand and get along, kind of thing, right? But I think it speaks something to your experience with music. I think is a fascinating experience, and having worked in the industry at a very high level, and you have a lot of knowledge that people, I'm sure, really appreciate. You've been talking to a lot of people about your knowledge of especially the KRAMER guitars, and why you feel that they are really, back then in those days, were some of the best made guitars ever. And it had a lot to do with a certain somebody that we all love and had passed away a few years ago, unfortunately, Edward Van Halen, and his ingenuity, and why. And I'd like to get your feeling and thoughts on why you think certain things that he had in mind made a difference in the guitars being of one better or less quality or whatever. I'd like to get your thoughts on that. But why don't we start right off with in your youth, Robbie, in your early days, what got you into music? When did you start playing an instrument or find some interest in music, like being a musician?
Well, I had a lot of problems when I was a kid. I had asthma, and I used to get rushed to the hospital and all that. Like, they bring me back to life. It was very traumatic for my parents.
Wow, so you had like life-threatening illnesses as a child.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. And
Wow.
My dad would bring me the first releases of albums from New York City, because he'd go up there as part of his job. He worked at a company named Tally, which was some of the first computers that were made, and he'd bring me these just that day release. So he brought me Donovan's first album. He brought me Creedence Clearwater Revival, Bayou Country. He brought me the first Steppenwolf. And he brought me the first Doors album, and I had this when I was I was like 10 years old listening to this stuff, and I had a badminton racket. I played a really mean badminton racket,
Badminton, a mean badminton. I don't know if that even works, does it?
Yeah, well, it was I played it like it was a guitar, and I listened to that. Yeah.
And then badminton, hold on, let me ask you this. Isn't badminton the beginnings of tennis?
Oh, not really. The shuttlecock never hits the ground.
Oh, that's a really good point. But they do hit this thing over and back and forth over the net.
Right. Yeah.
Racket. I think that came before tennis came, didn't it? I think it's
probably. I'd imagine so.
Didn't tennis come out of Britain over the grass, like Wimbledon style?
Could have. The French might have had something to do with it too. I don't know.
Yeah, you're probably right. The French, they probably had a lot of time to play the rich upper class. Anyway, sorry, go on.
So, of course, being a stupid kid with asthma that shouldn't be drinking, I quickly turned into an alcoholic. So,
So how old were you when you first experienced alcohol? And was it like your dad handing you a beer when you were 12?
No. It was probably about 12. My parents were big drinkers, and I sneak stuff off, and You know, it
Did
got
you
to the
water
point where
down like the decanter of whiskey or brandy or whatever, and then did you take some out and water it down?
I was a professional sifter, if you will. My dad would wonder why he wasn't getting drunk because it was all water in the whiskey bottle, you know. And you know, so my sister that had passed on, of course, she had this harmony guitar, and
Uh-huh.
I stepped on it and broke the neck. Okay, so I drilled holes through it and put a nut and a bolt through to hold the neck on. And I
Hmm.
started trying to play that. So what I did,
Interesting. So how old
this
you
is,
were like 12, 13 then? So when you first started to try
uh,
to play guitar?
I'd say probably maybe about 16.
Oh,
I say
okay.
it actually started at 17 because that's when I could actually kind of play something. But back then, I was an alcoholic, so I'd get, you know, drunk, and then I'd start, you know, beating on the guitar and screaming, and that's how I started.
Yeah, right.
But
And
just doing that.
what was your favorite band? Like was there a particular song or a band that made you want to grab that guitar and say, you know what, I want to be like those guys?
I didn't really ever think I wanted to be like anybody.
But you know what
You
I mean.
know,
I mean, was there someone at that young age, something must have inspired you to pick the guitar up and run around screaming, playing it.
uh, I can't really pinpoint that. It's
Hmm.
just
All
something that
right.
I did, and
Well, all right.
I did have I did listen to, you know, at that point it was you know, Jimi Hendrix, Led Zeppelin was probably my biggest thing, and when I started playing, I'd play along with the album, and I found that
Cool.
I could do it without really any difficulty. So I didn't really ever take any lessons. I never really worked at it. It was just something I could do, you know. And all this time has gone by, and you know, it's not like I don't feel like I've improved or gotten any better. I'm just still doing the same thing I always have.
Yeah, yeah. I'm kind of the same way, to be honest. I haven't really seriously um, attempted to learn the guitar to get better at it, and it takes time, as everyone out there knows. And I recall when I was younger, obviously I had a handful of lessons, but on the piano. But those handful of lessons put certain books and things in my hand that I then, you know, read and learned. Like there was this one book of scales that I learned all those scales backwards and forwards, and I could, you know, that's how I've got the dexterity in the hands on the piano because I did all those scales for hours and hours and hours when I was in my preteens and teen life, you know, and that definitely helped develop my understanding of the keyboard, and you know everything from different you know notes to intervals to chord shapes to chords, how the chord shapes are the same. You just move them around to different, you know, combinations of keys, white and black, right? And the bottom line is, you like you did and like I did fairly early on, I listened to the music and then I would pick up on the melody and the bass line. I could very easily follow a basic melody of it and then follow the bass line, the key, you know, that goes with that particular part of the melody would be the change in the chords. Then you would learn the chord structure on your left hand, right hand, and combine them together. And that's what's really great about learning piano as a musician early. It's a good instrument to start on because you learn those parts of the music that are all part of a song, which is the bass, the accompaniment, the melody, the solo, everything could be played on the piano. And you learn all those parts of a song, at least in the rock and roll sense, right? You learn all the parts of the song, and you understand how they all fit together. And it's a great instrument to learn, um, you know, music on, because then you can then apply that to any other instrument, you know. And that's how, like you were saying about my sense of rhythm, and you have a really good sense of rhythm, and your singing and all that to the music is dead on. You're really, you know, I think some of the songs you've written, Robbie, are you know, great songs. And I'm not saying that because I have you on an interview thing here talking to you.
Uh,
I think they're great songs because they are all, you know, some of them are goofing around and some of them are just for fun and getting it out, you know, kind of thing. But then there's some of the ones that are really very deep, heartfelt, almost, you know, Dylan-esque in their, I would almost say poetic, you know, expression of your feelings at that time. And that's what I think is great about music, because it allows you to express yourself. And music, the sound of music, helps you bring those emotions and those things out of you, and then helps you present it or express it in a way to the world so that people can feel it. And that's different than telling a story. Hey, Ritesh is here. Telling a story or hearing a story or watching a movie. Can you imagine movies without music? You wouldn't even really care or know what's going on. Dwight Bailey also here. Because the music helps lift up or help rise out of you the emotional feeling that the person creating that story or telling that story is trying to get you to feel, so you feel it the same way. So it's just like in Star Wars when you hear dun 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 dun, you know something bad's coming. It's the Empire, right? But when you hear da 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 da, you know it's like the building of this grand story. It's kind of like there's some longing in there, there's some sadness, but there's, you know, that's the Skywalker's theme, you know. And so those different stories have an emotion tied to them that music lifts up out of us, right? And so I'm sure the music that you first listened to early on in life, even as a baby maybe, affected your ear and was already training your ear to hear it, right? And then once you were in a position or in a situation where, let's say, you were like in the hospital, or you know your dad was bringing you albums, you were listening to him in the hospital, or were you at home?
No, that was after the really bad hospital days.
Yeah.
But my mom played the piano all the time, and I used to sit underneath the, you know, underneath the keyboard there, listening to her. And her father was a musician too, so I guess it's as hereditary as the darn arthritis I have. So
yeah. So the music early on was a way for you as a young person to express yourself. And when you mentioned you'd be jumping around and screaming and stuff, so when you say screaming and stuff, the first thing that popped into my mind is some of the songs that I've heard you write that are very punk rock in style. You must love punk rock.
That's musical. This was just outright screaming. It was me and just beating on a thing. I was like, just that kind of established me being able to vocalize expression with like no absolute musical value whatsoever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but it may not have a musical value in the sense to what the world might necessarily want to hear. But how many, you know, how many songs are there out there, like Nirvana comes to mind right away, where the screaming and the yelling part of it, like, and then how much screamo metal, you know, that's the style of music where everyone's screaming now. So obviously there are genres or there are styles of music that people appreciate because it's an expression of an emotion for sure, right? And whatever you were going through at the time, you needed to scream, and you were letting it out, man, right?
Yeah.
And then then, when did you start like playing like actual music, and when did you recall writing your very first song? Do you have a recollection of that?
Well, it didn't take long before I could play, and I played along with Zeppelin albums, and that's where I learned basically leads and everything, and I could play right along with the albums. So I did that, and some of the first songs that I wrote were actually some of the basis of some of the ones we're going to hear today. Like the one I did for my mom, that was a song I wrote when I was 17 with like a different pretext. And I went back and I used that with, you know, at a higher level to write, you know, you have to be strong.
Oh, and, okay. So,
you know, so
is that one of the songs that you sent to me, right?
Yes. That's one of the songs that really got me going.
You want to talk a little bit about that, or you want to talk a little more about that, and we can play that song?
Well, I was kind of going to go just kind of quickly say that I worked all the time, and I saved up my money, you know, and I had this drum set, and I bought one drum at a time. It took me forever, you know.
Yeah.
It took me forever to save up to buy stuff. And I got to where I was playing out places, and I could play the Zeppelin, and, you know, I saved up enough to get the 30-inch gong, and
so was the gong the first instrument that you ever bought for yourself?
No, I had the drums before the gong.
What kind of drum set was it? I have to know.
It was a Ludwig.
Ludwig, dude, damn, you got a nice set for the beginning.
Well, it took me a long time.
Well, I mean, it might have been a cheap Ludwig, but, you know.
Well, it wasn't really cheap. I always kind of wanted to get good stuff. It just took me forever to pay for it.
Ah, so you kind of bought it piece by piece and put it together.
Right,
Wow.
exactly.
So you had, wow. So once you had the whole thing set up, you must have been like, yeah.
Well, and I would play drums in bands because nobody played drums. So, and I could do that. And everybody played guitar. So I was like, all right, well,
Yeah,
I'll play
right.
drums.
That's why I stuck with keyboards too, because you couldn't find a good keyboardist anywhere. And a lot of people were trying to play guitar mostly badly. And there was one or two drummer friends that you knew, or at least there was one guy we knew in Colorado when I was a teenager. This guy Tad, his name was Tad, like Tadpole. That dude, man, he could play. He really wanted to be a drummer. I bet she probably ended up becoming a drummer in the real world. I can't remember his last name. I got to look this kid up, and I got to be able to find him in the yearbook of high school or something. But this was back in Colorado, so it's hard to, I haven't been able to find some of my best friends by their real names on Facebook or anywhere. So hopefully they're not in jail or something.
Well, even back then, I couldn't find people to play with. I mean, like, I played the whole Song Remains the Same album. I could go from beginning to the end, play the whole thing right along with the record.
Wow.
And all nail everything. And one of the songs I try to play with people would be Rock and Roll. And
yeah, that's a good one.
Nobody could get the changes in the rhythm for the lead break because it's different than the rest of the song. So they'd always drop into the key too quick. I didn't have time to finish the lead runs. I couldn't do the intro with the seventh notes, and it was really frustrating. So that kind of started just me on my own, because I knew if I'm just playing the song, I could do it and it's not going to mess up, So I would do that. I had one of the first little Roland drum machines that you could program.
Oh, I did too. The Boss one, the little silver one.
Oh yeah, it was silver, right?
Yeah, the little silver one that came in like this, almost like a vinyl kind of little cover.
That's the one. Yeah,
dude, I had that same one, man.
You programmed.
You could program a few
little red flashing.
Yeah, I had that. I wish I still had it. Actually, I think the last time I saw it, my brother Andrew had it in his trunk of stuff that he had. He's one of the four of us that kept some of the things from our childhood, because he had this one of them like steamer trunk kind of things, the fake kind that you buy at the store or whatever. And because that was kind of a thing in the 80s and 90s that kids would have those. He had a black one with silver, buckles or whatever you call the hinges and stuff. And he had that for a while, and I remember seeing it and I'm like, oh my God, there's that, Yeah, I wonder, I can't remember what the name of it was. But was it Roland Boss something?
No, that was before Boss.
TR1 something, or it was before Boss?
I don't know.
I remember I had that in the
TR606 maybe. That was before Boss. That was before Boss was around. That was just straight up Roland.
All right, so you're talking about one. So yeah, I've got to find this one. I got to find it. Yeah, stay on topic, says Ryan. Okay, all right. Back to you, Robbie. The drums. So you got into the drums. You were playing the drums, but then you also were playing the guitar too. Did you ever play or have a bass, or did you just what did you do there?
No, I really wasn't playing the bass, but I got to the point where I would make set lists so I could go play places that people would pay me to play.
Right on.
And I was actually pretty successful. I was, making money at it, and I was doing rather well. And there's a lot of funny stories that I don't have to get into, but people paying me to stop playing because I started playing like the national anthem with my teeth, and starting like people starting to riot and stuff like that, and they'd give me twice as much as they were supposed to stop playing. So
that's a great story.
It happened a lot, man. It happened like 4 or 5 times, So
now we know the secret background to how and why you play with your teeth, because you get paid more.
No, I always did.
Just stop playing.
That's just another thing that I was always able to do. I saw Hendrix. I said, oh, I can do that. And I started doing that too. And so that was going on. And of course, I was still an alcoholic. And I was a really bad alcoholic. I was the kind of alcoholic that froze the vodka in the freezer so you could drink it like water. I was the kind of alcoholic that would get pulled over. I'd get pulled over by the police, and I would recite my alphabet backwards, and they would let me go. To this day,
My
I cannot
grandfather
be.
was like that. He was an alcoholic too, and he was a boxer, so he had excellent balance, and he would stand on his foot and go like this, and the cops would let him go because he's like, would I be able to balance like this if I was drunk? So he'd get away with it as well. Yeah.
So I'm going along like this, and then John Bonham dies.
I remember
John
that. I
John
remember hearing
Bonham
the news.
drank himself to death.
Mm.
And I said to myself, I am going to live past the ripe old age of 40. I don't care if I have to work minimum wage the rest of my life. I am not going into music. I don't care how easy it is, how talented maybe I was people like, or what.
Yeah,
I didn't
there's
want
too much
anything to do
bad
with it.
influence around it, right? Too
And
much
that was
party
it.
around it. Yeah.
And I stopped. Now, I didn't stop playing,
Hmm.
but I stopped, trying to
Yeah,
be a
yeah,
musician at that point. Yeah.
right. I have an interesting, if I can get off topic, Ryan, if you don't mind. It's kind of on topic. In my late teens, when I was gonna go to college or go to LA, and we're talking 1985, I decided to go to junior college instead of going to LA because I thought, from people telling me that I had some talent, that I thought I'd give it a go. And all the stories that I started hearing from people after going down there once and just talking to some people and whatnot was that it was a meat grinding jungle, like what, obviously the Welcome to the Jungle song is all about that. It's a jungle, baby. And that's what that song is really about, is that good luck. You gotta bleed. We're gonna make you bleed, right? The whole thing is about really what it takes to make it in the music industry. At that time, it was so competitive, the rock scene and all that. you know um I loved music, but I didn't love it to the point where I thought I was willing to die for it like that. And I always had music in my back pocket as a form of therapy or an escape from the world, or some way to express myself. And I always loved. I still have a strong desire to create music for the world, to express it out there. But it's not like something that I would die without having music. Don't get me wrong, but I didn't feel like I had to do it as a way of making a living, or else. I never felt that way. I thought there are other things I could do. And I have no regrets whatsoever. But if you could relive your life multiple millions of times over and over again, of course I would choose that once, just to see what it would be like. But at the time, it didn't feel like it was the thing that I'd want to get into, for similar reasons as you. I wanted to get away from smoking pot and living that, no one, who cares kind of life, do what you want kind of thing. I wanted to be serious. I wanted to have a family life, like what I grew up around. And so I got involved in more community activism kind of things with the Hungarian community here in the Bay Area, joining and being part of the Hungarian folk dance ensemble, which, I never went into the music side of that because it didn't interest me as much, to play violin or contrabass or contraviolin or viola or whatever. I never got interested in that folk music as much to want to play it. But I had done some stuff on piano and rewritten songs and stuff like that on piano. But I joined the Hungarian Scouts organization. Even later in life, I was helping out in the American Scouts organization because of my brother and his wife, very involved in all these things. And for me, it was more important to have family and to be part of a connected community and family, than go out and make a name and become a rock star. I never had an interest in being a rock star because I always thought rock stars lived fast and hard and died young. And when I saw what happened when Randy Rhoads was a perfect example. Here's a guy who kind of got pulled into the rock world because of his skills and talent, but he really wanted to be a classical, player and a teacher and have a school. And he was wanting to make money so that he can open his own school and do what his parents did. Family, community. And he dies because he's in the middle of that shit, if you want to call it that, if I could say it that way. And so I can see where, at a point in your life too, you probably said, "Nah, it's not worth it, man. I want to live longer and be happier."
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, Ritesh, I never got to go to a real college. I went to a community college, and right there on the wall, I have 3 degrees, but they're only 2-year degrees, so they're not the full-on, baccalaureate level either. They're just 2-year degrees in sociology, social sciences, and business, and in psychology, which is a transferable psychology degree. It's not even an actual degree per se, but it is. And then I also have an Alan B. Brown Award, which is for student services, excellence in student services. I came up with the idea to have what I called no stress zones for finals week. And I was talking to my nephew about this a couple weeks ago when we were celebrating some other June birthdays. And he's like, what? I'm like, dude, they have that everywhere. And I'm like, yeah, I know. It was my idea. It started at the Beacon Community College of San Mateo, and it spread like wildfire everywhere. And now lots of even universities have a no stress zone where they can learn about how they can de-stress before exams, and doing lots of techniques on how to, retain the knowledge you're learning. Sleep, getting good sleep is a very, very, very important part of this. Instead of cramming the night before, you'll never retain that information anyway. So it's something that I'm very proud of being part of, creating a very positive effect on the world. And that's why I tell people all the time, one person, Robbie, like what you're doing right now, the last 3 months of what you're doing, dude, how much of a difference in other people's lives have you already made, let alone your own? Right?
Yeah, I hear a lot of people
Yeah.
interpret this stuff different ways,
Mm-hmm.
and almost completely positively. You
Right.
know,
Right.
I got one negative comment once. That was it.
Right. And they'll come. You're going to get those, because sometimes people are in a certain point in their life, or they come to YouTube for something that they want. And if you're not giving them what they came for, they'll let you know. And that's okay too. I've had somebody, say that to me recently. It was the first negative comment of sorts that I've had in quite a while. And I took it to heart, because I'm like, you're right. It was basically about, hey, I came to listen to, the stereo version of your EVH pedal that you got, and I got mono, and goodbye, I'm done. I'm like, sorry, man. I even said first impressions. I don't have the setup. I don't have the time. I'm not a professional YouTuber. I'd like to do this kind of stuff in a better quality way, but it takes, as you know, it takes time and effort. And you got some help with Johnny setting up your interface and all that. But like with me too, I even have mics and I have everything, but it will take hours literally for me to find, for example, the things that I need to put together to make it work. And I don't always have those hours in a day. That's the thing. And sometimes I'll blow a 4 or 5 hours just chatting with like Garguts the other night on my birthday, because I need some chill time too, man. And so balance, I think, is the thing. But like what Stephen Franklin says here, right here, man, don't worry about negative comments. At least you're putting out content. See?
Well, I mean, I hit a milestone today. Today, I officially got over 300,000 views.
Wow, dude. Wow. That's amazing. Right on. That's great. Double claps. I hope it's not too loud, guys. I'm keeping it like a foot away. Anyway, so that is awesome, Robbie. That is really amazing. And then, I think it's great to have those stats. I think it matters. I think what really matters more than all those stats is, are you making connections with people? And that's why I wanted to have you on this show and have you, discuss your story, because this is a connection thing. I mean, I believe that we're becoming friends. That's what I'm chalking it up to. I find, getting to know and meeting the actual people live, like G. Butchnoff and Alice and Johnny originally, and other people that I've met, Mike Wood, some people from the Metalhead Hippie Show from back in the past, like my friend Jack the Rabbit, his name's not Jack or Rabbit. People like, of course, Brent. I want to actually meet these people, not just, but not everyone on YouTube or on the internet wants to meet, and that's fine too. but for me, I think it's about human connection. I think that's what music is really all about in many ways. And so, yeah, I think we're becoming friends, Robbie.
I'd say so. Oh yeah, and I'm up to 380. I mean, 584 subs right now.
That's awesome, dude. You know how long it took me to get to 500? And that's because I wasn't doing what you're doing, which is you're making music and you're putting you're putting it out there, and people are really responding as they should, because it's amazing what you're doing. So tell us a little bit more about this song, and then let's maybe play that. What do you think?
Okay, so
You have to be strong.
Yeah, I was playing a song at the end of Johnny's shows, and it was always a cover of something, this or that.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, a hippie was having him on his show. He even gave me a couple twofers for, covers. And I ended up writing this one song, was No Time for Me. And that went over pretty good. That got my first community post from Heather, Feisty Feather, put that up. And just a little bit after that, that's when I wrote You Have to Be Strong. And it was my mom's birthday. She had died quite a long time ago. I quit my job, and I nursed her as well as my dad when they both had cancer at the same time. And they both died within 2 weeks of each other. And I was there for that.
Wow, that's rough, man. Holy
I was there for that. And a lot of that comes out in this song. A lot of the things I experienced when she was died. I was the one that gave her final dose of morphine in the end. And she would talk to me. She would eat her food normally with me. Everybody else, she wouldn't do that for anybody else in the family. It was just like between me and her. And I was there with her all the time, 24/7. And that's what, it was her birthday. And I got to the point with, meeting these people in YouTube and, getting comments to the channel and talking on shows like Johnny's, about things that I started to kind of open up in a creative way. And I think that even though no time for me, I think it was, even though that was like the first like real original that was substantial. You Have to Be Strong was like what I considered the beginning, because of like the emotional, not only emotional contact, but the intensity in the performance. Because it was a very emotional song, and I think that's where it really kind of started. That would be where I started counting. That would be number 2. In roughly the last 3 months, I've written probably about 84 original songs. And that would be the second one. Yeah.
Wow, the second one. All right, you guys want to hear it? Let me get it ready here. Let me get it ready. All right, here we go. I'm going to do the good old present page thing, if I could figure this out. It's always a challenge. All right, share screen. So You Have to Be Strong by Robbie Stingle here. I think I got to get this, hold on, in this mode like that. That's where it looks the best. I think. Well, kind of. Not exactly. Hold on. Almost there, as Red Leader said. Or Gold Leader. Can't recall. One of the two. All right, here we go. All right. Can you guys see that? All right. Let's hit the start.
I miss you so much, I could hardly stand it. You stole my heart just like a bandit. Now I'm all alone. If I could be candid and free roam, and I've just landed. Now you are gone, I've got to live all by myself. And I'll write a song and my heart does melt. You're never coming back, you've inside my soul. Someday we'll meet again in the light that's cold. Solid gold soul, we don't really go. How that to hold forevermore. You gave me life and suffered with me. I was your blood, so it would seem. When the end came, I was there for you. Saw what I shouldn't, and what did you do? So love is eternal existence, infinite. It's never ending love, and we both know it. So when you left, we both did know the light and the love did surely show. It's been a long time now, the months and years go by. But to this day I still feel sad and cry. Everything I know, feel you are near. And I know in the end, the light is clear. So love is eternal, existence infinite. It's never ending love, and we both know it. That you left, we both do know the life and love will surely grow. I miss you so much, I can hardly stand it. You're still in my heart, just like a bandit. Now I'm all alone. If I could be candid and free you roam, and I'm just landing. I just landed.
So moving, man. It's an amazing, moving piece. And I thought that you had written this about a friend of yours that passed away, the one who died of cancer, when you told me about that. And so
Oh,
this
well,
is
that
more
was
about the loss of your dad and your mom first and then your dad, right?
yeah. Dad was 2 weeks after mom.
Wow.
But
Yeah.
hey, Ritesh, if you listen to it on my channel, it sounds a lot better.
Yeah,
You know?
obviously.
Yeah.
And
So
and also, I think what Ritesh is saying is, these songs are deserving of like real, quality production, and I agree with him. And another thing I would kind of, pose to you, Robbie, is I hope that there's enough of your songs and music getting out there that maybe someone else out there might notice it to where they might want to, you know, use some of your songs, because there
well,
are a lot
here's
of
the
great singers and songwriters out there, but they're always looking for good songs.
well, here's the thing. I'm doing this to give
I know.
these songs to the world.
Yeah.
I can't accept. I'm not trying to be some sort of successful rock star at 61 years old. You know, I will, however, and I've never said this before, but if somebody does want to help me with my musical endeavors, I do have a PayPal for Robert Stingle, circle at. So if you wanted to
There you go.
contribute something, you could
Friends and
send it to that.
family. Send it as friends and family.
I've never said that before,
Yeah.
but as many of
Here's
you
the
know,
thought.
yeah,
Go ahead. Sorry.
as many of you know, I am trying to get another Gong, and that's
All right.
my big focus of trying to get enough money for that, and I could
There
probably
you
use a
go.
little help with that.
That would be great. Yeah.
Won't mention
Well,
it again.
I think it's worth mentioning, Robbie. Because I think you're giving a lot of your own energy and time into YouTube and to the people out there listening to this music. And if they appreciate it, I'm sure they'll reciprocate with some form of help to you to achieve some of the things you want to. And I know that one of the other things I wanted to ask you about, and of course talk about, that we talked about on Monday, was what you're going through now, physically and otherwise, how it's come to be that you're not able to be out and about, and why you don't maybe have the power physically and energy to do some of these things that you'd like to do. And what it does take sometimes, is putting an album together, anything like that together, takes a lot of time and energy, You can do it quick and easy and dirty too, and if you have the right producer, people, with the right equipment and softwares or whatever nowadays, you get right advice, you could probably put together a pretty damn good version. But it's still, regardless of all that, you still have to have the time and energy of it. And for example, my cousin Suzanne, who has MS, a lot of people don't understand multiple sclerosis doesn't just affect you physically, it affects you mentally too. It affects how you feel. It affects your emotions, and a lot of physical, biological, whatever you want to call it, medical ailments, health concerns or whatever, affect people, not just, here, take a pill and you'll be 100% better. It doesn't work that way. It affects you in so many other ways that it takes a lot out of you. And it's hard for people that have like a normal functioning body and mind, for them to sometimes understand, why can't somebody do something like that? They should do it. Just do it. It's not that simple.
Well,
And the more you understand about, not just the physical and health aspects of these kinds of things, but also the psychological aspect of it too, the more you understand how difficult it can be. And so I really, really do applaud you, Robbie, for putting out what you have so far, the way you've done it already so far. And I know that you have it in you, just like I do too, and anyone does. If they can find a way to, you could call it a reset or whatever, a refresh of their priorities, you could do that if you wanted to make it a priority, if you had the ability to make it a priority. And it would be great if that was important and if it was something you could and wanted to do, right? So that's
well,
you. And a lot of people want to hear it, and they want to know if that's possible, and we hope that it is.
well, for me, I mean, I'm writing the songs, and I'll make the video, and then I move to the next one. Whoever wants to redo the song is fine. There's no charge. There's no agenda. This is just getting it out there for people to enjoy.
That's beautiful, man.
There's no monetary agenda here on that. It's just like, that's what I'm doing. And if I thought that way, I wouldn't be able to write anything.
Right.
And I just want to say to Ryan out there that you want to call it pasty, fine. When you buy a gong, you can call it pasty.
Buy a gong and call it pasty, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He even sent me a link, but we won't go into that because I don't care about these kinds of arguments. I think they're a waste of energy. So who cares? If you want to call it pie-iced, pizza pie-iced, call it whatever you want to call it. You have the prerogative in your life to say what you want, and so it is what it is.
I was happy working at the golf course before I got my diagnosis, and what happened was I started to not be able to use my hands. I started getting big swellings on my joints. I looked like a hunchback. I couldn't move my arms. I had no strength. I ended up losing 80 pounds, and I thought I was dying. And I went to the emergency room, and they finally figured it was rheumatoid arthritis. And it took me a couple of months before I could get to the rheumatologist. And they had me on prednisone. Prednisone is horrible stuff. Basically what they give people that are dying. And that was the only thing that could help. I couldn't sleep. I had all kinds of pain. It was absolutely horrible. And when I got to the rheumatologist, I needed help from somebody that was helping me at the time that worked at the golf course. Even putting clothes on, even just getting to the, to the doctor. And she said it was the worst case of rheumatoid arthritis she'd ever seen.
Wow.
And I was on really heavy medication. I was at the max of the methotrexate, which is a chemotherapy drug for cancer.
You're lucky to be alive, bro. A lot of people have been dying on pain medication in recent years because of the misunderstanding by a lot of doctors about how powerful it can be if people make just one small mistaken dosage.
Well, I get drug tested regularly. That's good. Because I've been able to lower the dosage, I'm only down to 7 pills, which means I only have to go to the rheumatologist every 3 months. And that means I don't have to pay as much for blood work all the time. And but the swelling's gone down, and I can move. I can get out of bed. I wasn't able to even get out of bed. It was horrible. I couldn't sleep. It was just pain, super pain. So now with the Enbrel that I injected once a week and the methotrexate, I take a anti-inflammatory is the only thing I do for pain, because I'm not going to take some pain medication that turns my mind to mush. You would not have any music like that. You would have no emotion. There would be no way of expression. All the stuff I've done, I would have been able to do if I was drugged out and everything.
Right.
But I'm getting thrown off here.
You're reading the comments?
Yeah, Ryan's still going on about
I was trying to avoid that subject. So let's just bring it up right now. All right. So bottom line is, Ryan, I know it's not an argument. It's just that people like to banter these things back and forth in the chat, and it takes away from what the show's about. And I don't care. I don't think Robbie cares. What's the right way to say it? We don't care. We just want to talk about what we came here to talk about. So go on.
So with all the treatment now, I am able to hobble. I need the cane, and I'm in pain pretty much all the time. Now, I could get up and do stuff for a limited amount of time, but then I'm done.
My cousin Suzanne, who has MS, and that's another inflammatory, problem, and you lose the myelin sheathing on your nerves, so that's why parts of your body just decide not to work at all or anymore or whatever. And she's got maybe an hour or so of I can actually move. There'll be times when she's basically like You know, she's gotten used to it, and she's, you know, she's quite an amazing person, how she's handled it so far. But there are times when she's basically, her body's paralyzed, and I give her so much, you know, accolades and hope, you know, that she has enough trust or whatever you want to call it, hope that she'll actually come out of the paralysis and actually be able to move again. Can you imagine what that's like? Hoping that, oh God, I can't move now. And then you've got to somehow calm yourself, because, you know, getting all upset about it does not help. You boost up, you know, the wrong chemicals in your body that make it worse. And worst, much worse. Took me back to Predator for some reason right there. But anyway, the movie. But the thing is, you know, a lot of people do not understand. It's not like when you're talking about arthritis, you're not talking about, oh, my hands are cramping a little bit. No, you're talking your whole body's freaking cramping and it doesn't want to function, and you have only so much energy to get up and do a show or something like this. And I want to also thank you for taking the time and energy, Robbie, to come on the show and talk to us today. So.
Well, this all gets back to your main thing here, because
yeah,
I started watching Johnny, and I got in the chats and started talking about stuff about KRAMER, and Mike Olson got Johnny's attention to have me on the show so I could tell my KRAMER story. And that's when Janice subscribed to a channel I didn't have. And I just put up all the shorts I could. And, you know, R2, smoking weed does not help. Smoking weed is for the medication I'm taking. It actually reacts worse. And I don't drink. I'm an alcoholic. So
I was going to say, I didn't even want to post the comments because it's not going to help.
None of that works. And believe me, I was there. And when you're taking the medication I take at the cost that it is, it's stupid to not do anything that would make it hurt. Make it worse. Like I was saying, there are a lot
of these home remedies that some people can use, and you got to probably understand, you guys, that Robbie's been to doctors that he's seen that have already, you know, prescribed for him what's working for him. And there are a lot of chemistry in the body is very complex, and every body is different. And that's something that more and more doctors today are finding out, that we have to treat each individual person's body differently, because not everything reacts the same way. Not everyone's body reacts the same way to the same chemicals and whatnot. We're all individual biome of a lot of ingredients, a lot of other living creatures in us too that are part of our biome. And so we're not just one living thing. We're actually an amalgamation of many living things creating what we are as a human being on this earth. That's why space travel and all this other kind of stuff, there's a lot of difficulty in it, because, you know, what keeps us alive and healthy and happy is being on the planet where we evolved to be this creature that we are. Take it out of that biome, you know, and you're going to be asking for a lot of trouble. But I think that he didn't mean anything bad. I think he meant well.
Yeah, I know.
But and I appreciate that too. You know, so take it for what it is. But I think Robbie's, you know, at a point where, like my cousin Suzanne gets a lot of advice from people who know nothing about MS. She's the one suffering from it, by it, and lives it every day. You don't think she has the most, you know, information about it than anyone? And her husband probably, you know, on a daily basis are getting updates and knowledge about what's the newest thing that we can try. She's tried so many investigative drugs and experimental things that she's had cancer several times caused by the medications that they were trying to help stop the MS from the myelin sheathing destruction, or the MS from, you know, getting worse. And she's had numerous transfusions and you know, cancer removed and all. I mean, it's a tragedy of what she's had to suffer because of multiple sclerosis and the medications all these pharmaceuticals are trying to come up with some kind of miracle drug for, that might not even work for her or anyone, but they're still trying. You know, they're out there trying to come up with these remedies. trust
Well,
me, the people suffering by these things sometimes know a hell of a lot more. And a lot of the home remedies and what they used to call, the kinds of I don't know, whatever you want to call it. There's so many different kinds of things out there that affect you different ways. Every person is different, and like what Akirs is saying, that he eats mushrooms. We want to ask where you got those mushrooms. But the bottom line is that yeah, some things some people can't try or do because of.
I'm not anywhere near as bad as her. Okay,
Yeah.
it's bad, but I know what you're talking about not
Oh
being able
wow,
to
yeah.
get up. I had to learn how to walk again. I lost all the muscle in my legs. It was really 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 bad. So but like I was saying, I got into the chat with Johnny, and I started going on his show, and that was inspiring. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that kind of started the ball rolling when Janice subscribed to a channel I didn't have. I started putting up whatever I had,
Excuse me.
and then
Just moving on my
then it
seat.
was David Lee Roth's birthday,
Uh-huh.
and that was an Edinburgh day for me. So I felt really horrible, and that's when I made that first video on my channel. So my
Wow.
channel dates to Roth's birthday last year is when it really started. And I found through, interacting with people that I found inspiration, and that helped me as far as the music goes.
Right.
And I would do more music for the channel, and it started to snowball, and it actually helped me to the point where now I'm busy every day. I mean, I have to post a short at a certain time. I put in a music video every day. I also put out 2 on Wednesday with the electric stuff that I do, and it gives me a reason to kind of get up to keep going.
Right. It
And
it inspires you to keep going, and it gives you a sense of reason for living. And I know there's some other songs that I've heard of yours too that are very touching, and there's one in particular, I'm trying to remember the name of it, where I think it's about your contemplation about ending it, because to prolong is the line that how long should I prolong this or not? And I think you're talking about your own life, like, should I prolong the pain to live this life, continue, or should I just let it go or end it somehow, right? And I'm sure there are a lot of people that are suffering from certain ailments, whether depression is like that. A lot of people that commit suicide that have depression or committing suicide so they can end the pain. And it's very hard to have the rest of the world who doesn't understand that pain, understand why someone would do that, but it is a lot of times just the need to end the suffering because they find no relief, and so I think it's a beautiful thing that you've been able to find music, and not just the music, but like what you're saying is what the main crux of what I think music's all about is music helped you connect with others that then gave you purpose in life to continue on to do something, because you're giving them love, you're giving them something that's affecting their lives in a positive way, and that gives you a purpose for living. Not all of us have children or can have children, Robbie, but we can bring love into the world, and help other people in the world through whatever gift we have or whatever things that we can express or create into the world. And that's what we're here for, I believe, and I think it's awesome that you found this at this point in your life, because it probably saved you, wouldn't you say?
Well, I wasn't doing a whole lot, and the whole reason why I started really getting into the guitar stuff was because I couldn't play the guitar. It was too
Right.
difficult to play, so I had to build guitars that virtually played themselves, and that's why the action's so low. That's why I fell back on Edward's dress the neck technique to get the lowest possible action.
Right. Right.
That's why I did the things I did. to be able to play. And
And
that's
I
why
think
the
when you
guitars
talk
are
about the importance of why it's so important for you to have a guitar the way that you know is the best way for you, which is the best way that Edward Van Halen figured out. And I wanted to ask you and go into your history, and we might go a little long today, you guys. Might go into the history of your working at KRAMER and how you were able to then meet this great inventor and mind of how to do something that maybe others just fumbled along or tried to make best do what they could with the guitar they had. But this guy's, no, look, this instrument needs to work for me the way I want it to, and I'm going to change it to make it work for what I want to do with it. And that's what, basically changed the world of guitar, rock and roll guitar especially, but not just rock and roll guitar. Anyone, as you know, that has played a guitar that's created, made, and set up the right way. I mean, I have that Friedman guitar that is probably my favorite to play out of all my guitars because it's just so perfectly set up, man. It's just amazing, And I've had people who don't even know what a Friedman guitar is, and it just looks like some beat up old guitar. Play that thing, is like, man, this thing is freaking amazing. And Phil McKnight actually owned this guitar before me, and he actually had a video where he talked about, he asked his kids, which guitar do you think up here is the most expensive and the cheapest piece of crap? And they all thought that the Friedman was the cheapest piece of crap. And they picked other guitars that looked really nice that were actually rather inexpensive. And he says, you're actually wrong. That one is actually the most expensive guitar I have in the room, or it's the most highest value guitar I have in the room. And they're like, what? And it's because of how it plays and how it's set up and how it feels in the hand. Exactly what you're talking about, that perfect, setup, man. That for someone who, like Eddie back in the day, was jumping around the stage and all this stuff and doing, jump kicks and whatever, being hoisted around by cables and whatnot. He had to know that his guitar is so perfectly set up that he just has to just touch it the right way, and it sings. It works the way it needs to, right? And that's for you in your own life right now, how you're having to deal with pain and all these things. If it's not set up perfectly, you don't even want to touch the thing. So, you could talk about the best made Les Paul out there, but if it's too heavy to even set on your lap and it's got body dive or neck dive or whatever, you're going to say goodbye. And you're going to go on to the one that's perfect, that sits right there and resonates and plays well and does everything that you need it to do exactly the way that you want it to do it. And yeah, man.
Yeah, that's how I got into that, and I'd been looking for, a way to make a plexi sound at a volume that was recordable, at a volume that was not stupid loud, because I refuse to play with people that try to blast themselves. You're going to hear me, I'm going to be louder. Oh, I could turn it up more. And no, I'd leave. I don't do that. And I almost, this is close. I almost went for the 20-watt silver Jubilee before they came out with the Studio Vintage. That has a solid state preamp. That has a digital distortion channel. Okay. And then they came out with the Studio Vintage with the attenuator at 20 watt. And I knew that was it. It didn't have any distortion channel. It don't have nothing, Thanks, R2. So that was it for me. Between that and discovering the red LED clipping diodes that were in the Marshall Governor, and also that Slash used that 022 600 volt capacitor to ground on his guitars. That's where they all kind of came together.
Interesting, yeah. And I really, really appreciate your knowledge about this. I know on the KRAMER Time show with Johnny on Friday nights, sometimes even for Johnny, it gets a little long in the tooth when it comes to describing of all these technical parts of what make these guitars special and better. But I really appreciate a lot of those things that you're telling us, because those are the very detailed little specific things that really make the big difference. Once you've heard it, right, and once you've felt it in the hand, it's not like there's no going back, because if you have other options for whatever other reason, you might want a different, I might want to pick up a Telly and it's like way worse in so many other ways than that kind of guitar. The neck is gloss and blah blah blah, it weighs a ton, etc. But the bottom line is that once you've played something like that and heard it and felt it, and it's like you don't want anything else. It's like you don't want to go back. Like Ryan, went to Ryan, he's got that perfect setup for what he loves, that Edward Van Halen, balance, or, FUCK album, sound or whatever. And he doesn't want anything else. He's got it. At some point, he might get bored with it. He might move on, just like Edward Van Halen did. He had his sound in the late 70s and throughout the 70s and into the late 70s and into the 80s. And then he changed it up because you get bored, man. After a while, you want something different. But even in his guitars, he was constantly innovating, taking it to the next step. Now his son is taking it to that next level, to a semi-hollow, where Edward actually started. What did he love the most? That 3-3-5 sound. But guess what? It wasn't working for him because the body was too big. It was feeding back all the other problems he had with all the equipment then compared to now. And now Wolf is doing what his dad was, first found the best sound out of. He's creating that very thing with the Wolf signature SA-126. I can't wait to have one of those in my hand. Can't wait to play one of those. And he might be totally wrong for me, because obviously his son Wolf is a much bigger guy than Edward. And he's probably got much bigger hands than Edward. So what feels good to him in his hand might be completely different than what feels good in my hand, because I don't have big hands, The bottom line is that there you go. You got somebody's that's taking it to that next level, because you're always going to be searching to some reason for or another that sound, but some people find it and stay with it. You've got people like Jeff Beck. That was it. That one guitar set up that right way, and that's it. I don't need anything else. Stop bringing me guitars to show me. I'm done. This is all I want. Yeah, right, Johnny. Right on, man. Yeah, me too. And they had that birthday year 1966 335 over at Real Guitars, that Martin played. I didn't want to play it because I knew I wouldn't just not be able to stop dreaming about it. Thing was freaking incredible. But so go on, Robbie. So now we know a lot about why you struggle physically and why it's difficult for you to put even more time and energy in this stuff. I wanted to ask you about the feeling that you get and why, and I have an idea why, but the feeling that you get and why you love the gong so much.
Well, obviously, Paste goes way back. Where I got the gong in 78. I had Paste cymbals before that, 77. Okay. So and that goes to John Bonham, because I would play all of Bonham on the drums, just like the Zeppelin. And that was probably a big reason why I got the gong. It wasn't Pink Floyd like some people, were really into Pink Floyd. They would just beat the snot out of it. But Bonham was a little more tactful in his gonging, which you can hear in like Zeppelin 2 and whatnot. And Slaughter's the same. And that was a big inspiration for me. That was kind of a big deal getting that gong, and it took me a long time to actually get the gong.
So how old were you when you bought that gong, and how long did it take you to save the money to get it?
I think I was maybe 18, and it did take a while to save the money. I was bringing it to this music store, bits and pieces.
Layaway, right?
Yeah.
Layaway, right?
Like way layaway. And I had got to the point
I had
where
a keyboard like that too. It was my first 88 key controller. But anyway, go on.
It was interesting because at that point, I thought John Bonham had a 40-inch gong. Okay. And I was like, wow, I really want to get a 40. So I started bringing money to the same music store. Yeah. And they were sending it to Paste. And I had, I think it was about $3,000 that I had paid him. And then I got in an accident with my van.
Oh, God.
My father fixed the van, but he wanted the money. So I was on a phone and paste every day for 2 weeks, trying, because they said no refunds, no refunds. I finally got them to send me back about 2,000 of it.
Jeez, man.
So
Even though you had an accident, it wasn't like your fault.
you know, the weirdest part about it is the 30 was in the back of the van.
Oh, you're kidding. Oh,
No,
man. So, okay.
and
So,
the
wow.
damage was right in the doors.
Oh, my God.
Smashed in the doors. That's right where the gong was.
God, so you actually picked it up and, oh, my God. So you
Those
had it.
doors crinkled around the gong. The gong was not hurt.
That's crazy.
And I thought, wow, man, that's
That was
great.
meant, you were meant to have a gong, Robbie. I think that's what that means.
But alas, I was never able to get that 40-inch gong for like my whole life.
So now you're on this is like the grail. You're after the grail, bro. You're after your grail.
I saw that they auctioned off
the grail gong.
I saw that they auctioned off Bonham's original gong from his tours, and it was only a 36-inch gong. But if I really save my money real hard by the end of the year, I should be able to get the 38-inch gong with the round stand. That's when I move everything into the living room. I'm going to have to get my own internet in the living room. Right now, I'm paying my neighbor. At this point in the house, I could get the Wi-Fi from her, but in the living room, it's too far away. So I'm looking at that, and I'll be able to set everything up and do everything from there.
So you need better internet, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm going to have to do that.
And then you're and you probably how Johnny sent you a laptop, so you have a laptop, right?
No, I bought the laptop.
Oh, you bought the laptop, but so how did you get the interface?
I went and bought the interface.
Oh, you bought the interface. Oh, so Johnny just helped you figure out how to set it up together.
Well, the thing that Johnny did that was so important is he said, get a new computer. That's the most important. Get the newest computer.
I agree. Yeah.
And another thing he said that was very important was storage in the computer is not really all of that unless you're a big time gamer. If you have stuff stored on your computer and it's filling up too much, you could transfer it over to that brick. You clear it out, go to the brick, and there you go. So I was able to get the
and you should do that regularly. That way you actually have a backup that's solid that you own in hand as well. And then you got to keep those updated too, because they age out.
I was able to get the Mac Air, but not the super expensive one that has all the storage. So, and he pretty much we hooked it up in about 5 minutes. It worked really well.
Right on. There you go.
Yeah. Oh, my sister helped me buy this computer, by the way. Like,
that's awesome.
Pretty much bought most of it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And it's there's still a lot to learn, but
right.
But yeah, I really like it. It sounds really good.
That's awesome. Well, I'm really glad that you've got that going on, and I think we covered pretty much everything that I think we might have wanted to cover so far in the interview, if you want to call it that. Why don't we play that other song that you sent to me by email? What do you think? And then maybe we can end the show. If you have the energy, if we can end the show with you doing what you wanted to, which was play that acoustic thing. And if there was something else that you wanted to tell us a story, like it would be cool to hear some more stories about KRAMER, but you tell a lot about that on the KRAMER show. So if you guys want to watch Johnny's show, if there's something else you want to share with us about your experiences, like when did you start at KRAMER? When did you leave from KRAMER? And how did you get into KRAMER in the first place? Those are some questions I wanted to ask. So maybe answer those and then, go from there.
Well, that won't take long. I could summarize
that
pretty quickly.
Yeah, sum it up.
In probably in late 81, I had a friend that worked at KRAMER and kept trying to get me to work there. And he didn't have a car, so I had to drive there every day. Okay. So then when 82 started, I'd be driving him there, and this short little long-haired guy would come up smoking a cigarette and try to get me to work at his factory.
Mm-hmm.
That was Edward. And I talked to him every time I dropped this guy off, and he wanted me to work there. And I didn't want to work for $4 an hour, you know?
Right.
So that went on for a while. I got to know people at the factory rather well, like Bill Isaacson, who built me the body for that guitar, the red guitar out of the Tiger Stripe maple and all that. And finally, in the beginning of 1984, I went to work there. And that's when I started. And I started milling shells, drilling and countersinking nuts, working in the assembly room. And that's where I saw most of Edward, because he'd come in there at least every other day.
Wow.
Sometimes if he was on tour, he would fly in just to go into the factory. He loved it.
He loved the making. He was a maker. Yeah.
And, you know, he would try to put guitars together. A lot of them had to be disassembled and redone because he'd slip with a screwdriver or crack wood or stuff like that. Yeah. But then I got moved into the neck room where I started dressing the necks. I didn't see Edward as much. And then pretty much he'd come in and say hi every once in a while. But it was when the 5150 necks and, you know, when those guitars were built, Billy Connolly's custom room, because Unkert was gone by then. And that's when he came in and told me how to dress the neck, because he couldn't get people to do it. And to this day, I explain it to people, and they don't think, so, well, no, it has to be this, that, this, that. You need this, that, and that. You know, and it's like, well, I don't do any of that, and I don't need any of that, you know. But, you know, so I've been doing it like Edward told me for forever. And I worked there roughly until a little past halfway through 86. And I was getting disheartened, like a lot of people there, because they went to the three-piece pointy neck. You know, everything was coming out of ESP by then. And that's where we started getting like Stage Masters one neck throughs that were, you know, the necks weren't in the right angle, and, you know, stuff just started falling apart. You know, and right after, pretty much after I left, things really got bad. So
right.
So that didn't take long.
Well, there you go. So then the other question is that after you left from KRAMER, did you still have an interest in building guitars and making guitars? Or did you start making them yourself for yourself and friends, or did you have an interest in going to work at another company or something, since you were like probably a master builder at that point in many ways, right?
Well, it's something I was aware of, and no, I didn't. There really wasn't anywhere else to go in Jersey.
Yeah,
Jersey.
Yeah.
You know, and frankly, everywhere else you could go, you made more money. So that's what I did, and I didn't really build any guitars. I hung up with, you know, or I hung on to what I had. You know, I got that SG in 84, and I had that, you know, Isaacson guitar and the 85 KRAMER. So I was pretty much set.
Right.
And I really didn't get any more guitars after that.
Right. There you go. All right. So then let's go ahead and play this Princess Drive-By song. I
want to kind of explain this a little.
Explain it.
All right. So it kind of starts off with a big, giant shout out to Lori from Lori's Mishmash, who is probably the most inspirational person I've ever met.
She's pretty awesome.
Outlook.
I owe her songs like you don't know.
Some people have their glasses half full. Hers is overflowing into
I'm an overflowing type too, for the most part. I love that about Lori too. She's just such an awesome human being. Just
and she has helped me so much and inspired me with so much stuff.
She's such an incredible person.
And she did a
her and Hippie, you know, they really
She did a metal song.
Mm-hmm.
And I started writing stuff. I actually wrote a song that she never did called Leather, which she didn't do. Yeah. And that's when I came out with this
Have you seen Lori in leather? She looks pretty good in leather.
Well, I'm not going to comment on that, but
There's nothing
That's
wrong
what I
with
wrote. I wrote Leather
appreciating
Lady.
beauty.
I wrote Leather Lady, which was
Yeah,
the
I
first
remember
kind of
that one.
spoof.
Yeah.
Spoof, and that's when it started. And then I did a song about hippie, an actor into a couple, and then I moved on from hippie to princess, because I'd see princess in like Jade's chat, and she'd hit it and quit it, and it was just like princess drive by. Jade would have
That's funny.
gun sounds.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, because they're talking about MacBooks, and I'm talking about Mac 10s, and I wrote this thing, Princess Drive By, about her, just shooting people and running people over and stuff. And that's what started like this whole series of these electric videos with like Leni Perez, being a stone cold killer nurse for ages, wiping out millions of people. Then she was Sister Gangsta, and then she was, there's another one I did for her. I did Colorful Energy, and I was really a hard time to get Colorful Energy to be like evil, because they're talking metal. You're not going to wear a white shirt and sing about flowers. And I finally come up with that she could be the colorful annihilator, destroyer of planets, where all she has to do is
the Thanos of
look
the
at a
music
planet.
world.
Look at the planet, and the whole universe is just explode, and she's got a gleam in her eye when she does it.
That's funny.
So
that's
like
what this song Princess Drive-By is about. All right, let's hit it.
Yeah, Princess Drive-By. That's in this reign of like spoof songs that I've done.
All right, let's check it out. All right, here we go.
Smoking tires, scalps blaze, princess sleeps, shoot with the haze, that tongue singing, never for days, watching all the friendly praise. You can't run, you can't hide, princess braces you in the side. That's that piece with the bravest of these. Won't let you go if you say please. Nitro burning, tires ablaze. Princess leaves you in the haze. That dog singing after days. Watching all the public praise. Never catch her if you try. She don't care if you try. Never will. Or goes jail. I see that she here is mail. If she stops for gas and tires, you better hope she has her eye on fire. If you hear those caps a bust, you will say it gotta be close.
Yeah, man. That's rock and roll, bro. I love it. Here, this was hippie would say this. Yeah, man. All right. Oh, I love it, man. Yeah. Johnny's got the toothbrush out. Got the toothpick. Oh my God. You know, I never tried playing with my teeth before, and I can't because they'll probably pop out of my mouth if I try. But the bottom line is, yeah, Robbie, I always wondered, like when a microphone gets wet and you can get like zapped. I guess there's a different amount of electricity going through a guitar, and it's okay. You're not actually touching a part of the guitar that could zap you, can you? Or can
Well,
you get zapped?
the teeth are dry. I don't play with my tongue, so I don't really have that
Okay,
problem.
so no wetness touches the string,
No.
even though your mouth is practically right on it. It's amazing. All right, Robbie, look at the accolades coming in. I don't know what that's trying to say here, but I think on YouTube it looks different. Yes, it does. Right on, Ryan Hall, too. Rock on, brother, he's saying. Robbie does his own dental work. Amazing. That's right. He doesn't need floss. He's got strings. Great performance. And then, do you want to end, take us out of the show with something acoustic? Did you want to do something like that, or you got the record, or how do you feel?
I did write a song for your show.
Oh, wow. Did you send it to me? I didn't think I got a chance to.
No, I'm going to send it to you.
You know what? I'll let
week.
it be a surprise. There's also another surprise. Somebody sent me a box. It has to be from somebody in the community because it just says Laz on it. It doesn't have my name. It just says Laz and my address. So it must be somebody from the community or whatever, and it's from Oregon or something. So it might be my friend Heather too, because she was up in Oregon recently. Maybe she sent me something from there. I don't know, but we'll see. We'll find out. But like Don is saying here, keep it up, man. Keep it up. Yeah.
So you don't want to hear this song, then?
Yeah, definitely. Let's hear it. Yeah, do it. All right, we're gonna solo you. You ready for the solo? Here we go.
All right.
And I will keep the settings on the audio being with echo cancellation. Right.
Here we go. This is just called Music Therapy. Let's see what we can do here. You can help your life through music therapy. Give it a try and you will surely see life often symbolized by the life tree, and truly happy you will be. I was once in pain and now I'm free, helped in part by music therapy, and now I am truly happy. So my expression is truly free. Music therapy, happy you will be. Music therapy, pain I am free. Music therapy, happy you will be. Of pain I am now free. Listen closely, believe me, your life is better with music therapy. Hey, once tried and you'll see, Your life is better with music therapy. Music therapy. Happy you will be. Music therapy. I'm paid, I am now free. Music therapy. Happy you will be. Paid, I am now free.
Wow, Robbie, wow. That's amazing. Dude. That is so awesome. Thank you for that, man. Thank you for sharing your story, sharing your expression of your creative awesomeness into the world, dude, really. Yeah. And you inspire me. I've never joked about this kind of stuff. Early on, like I was telling you, man, you're my hero in this community, dude.
I can't hear you, Laz.
You can't hear me?
Yeah, is your volume down or something?
Oh, let me change that. Go back to this.
Is that better?
Yes, much better.
I switched mics. Anyway, right on, man. So, you guys, Robbie Stingle, man of many talents, probably the only person we'll ever know personally, as well as we can online, right? So far, that has a gong, and not only that, we'll probably soon have, with the help of everyone here, an even bigger gong. Right, so help him out, you guys. Robbie, what was that PayPal thing? Can you put it into the thing? You want me to? Is there like a link that you can send me? I can put into the description for people, or just go to his channel. Go to Robbie's channel.
Well, I don't have it on my channel. It's just Robert Stingle at the circle in the A PayPal.
So Robert Stingle.
Right, Robert Stingle at PayPal. You want another song, Laz, or were you out of time?
No, we can do another song, bro. Yeah, today's a light day. I don't have anything to prepare for or do anything other than this. If I have some time outside of the watering I got to do outside in the property, I'm going to try to get some stuff organized in here. So is that it, Robert Stingle at paypal.com?
Yep, that's
it.
You
guys.
I would appreciate it.
So that's not an actual link, but just copy and paste that if you can, or just write it out, just like that, Robert Stingle at paypal.com, and choose friends and family so that he doesn't have to pay the percentage to, Uncle Sam or whoever it is that takes that money. Let Robbie have it.
This song, I went back and picked this one out. Now, this one is another song that I wrote a long time ago. And when I was young, I would jam with this guy, and he was into being really loud, and I couldn't hear anything, and his timing was bad and all that. But this is one of the songs I wrote that I used to jam with him, and I used that riff in this song, and I really kind of like this one. And it's called "The Best You Got." Some of you guys might remember it. We'll see how it goes with this one, but I do enjoy this. Okay. Is that all of you? Is that your best? Everything that you do puts me to the test. Not feeling that I'm abused, I've gotta go rest. Tired of being abused. I've gotta This time of my life I will never get back. Ain't got no wife, I fade to black. It is a delight, no sneak attack. I run that line in my Cadillac. If that's the best you've got, then oh no. Let me get there. Come on, baby. Here we go. You got it, baby. Come on. If that's the best you've got, then your best sucks. You out of line is Hillbilly Deluxe. Yet you're smoking hot, God, make up bucks. That's the best you've got. Then your best sucks. I run away from you as far as I can get. That everything you do since we had met. I wish I knew what made you so upset. What you put me through, I'll never forget. That's the best you've got, then your best sucks. And you ain't got a lot, you got Hillbilly Deluxe. Yeah, you're smoking hot, got mega bucks. That's the best you've got. Then your best sucks. Your best sucks. Your best.
Sing it, everybody.
Your best
sucks.
Oh, baby.
Yeah.
One more time. That's the best you've got, then. Your best sucks. And you ain't worth a lot. Hillbilly Deluxe. Yeah, you're so smoking hot, you got mega bucks. That's the best you've got. That's the best you got. Then your best sucks.
Yeah, man.
Your best sucks. Your best sucks. Your best sucks. Your best sucks.
Yeah, man. All right, dude. Yeah, I didn't even know that was the ending, but I kind of knew it was. Yeah, all right. That's awesome, dude. Freaking amazing. Yeah. Right on, dude.
Damn.
Dude, that was badass.
You're out of control there.
That was awesome. Awesome job, Robbie. Thank you again, everybody, for coming to the show. And for Robbie. Yeah, oh yeah, right? Oh yeah. Where's the, oh yeah, here it is. You got that somewhere here. Yeah, right on. And I didn't even realize the whole time, you guys, that I was not even using the snowball mic. I was using the mic off the Logitech video cam. And I had the mic here set up thinking I was using this, and I switched it at one point to this, and that's when it went bad. So I'm throwing it away.
Watch where you throw that mirror ball trophy. I just want to say thank you for everybody to coming out and see me talk and listen to my story. Listen to me play. I just loved it, man. That was great. Thanks so much.
Yeah. And you guys, you should all go to Robbie's channel if you don't already know about his channel, which I would be shocked if you didn't know about his channel. You need to know about his channel, obviously. Go listen to some of his music, man. Hit some likes, do some comments in there, all that kind of stuff, right? Because really, the best way to support people on this like YouTube streaming or uploading or whatever kind of thing, the best way to support people is by actually going to their channels, watching their videos, and then, you know, commenting at the comments afterwards, you know, liking and all that kind of stuff, sharing the videos and sharing their channels to others. Really, there's no better way, you know, than that, if you ask me. And then one other thing I did want to share, just for laughs here, just so if you'll allow me, Robbie, just for laughs. Oh wait, oh I messed it up. I messed it up. Hold on a second. I'm totally messed it up. I had it set up. Okay, hold on. How do I go back 10 seconds or something here? All right, hold on. Just for shits and giggles, as they say, I've got to put this on there. Oops, that's the wrong thing. Let me go over here. Let me get the present thing. And thank you all the supporters of my channel too, by the way. I fail constantly to update and share the list of people that have been helping me, so I'll try to get that done for you guys.
Raymond wants to know if there's anybody that could take one of my songs and cover it. And there's a guy called My Knees Hurt in the community, and he did a cover of Downhill Road to Death. I've also got a collaboration going with Leela, Lure Reality, which should come out soon.
And we talked about doing one at some point too. And
I never sent you the lyrics for that. That's on me. I'll send you a video of your music therapy song.
Right on, man. All right.
So you'll have a quality thing to use. Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, so let's see if I can get this set up properly here. Is this set up properly? I don't know if that's going to go big screen like that's, yeah, that's what I want right there, like that. All right, and just to mess with you a little bit. Are you ready for this, Robbie?
Get it, Eric Peisty, God bless him. You know, 38's pretty good. That's the standard. No. That's what everybody likes. And I was like, I'm not playing the local bar. I want a big ass cymbal, big ass gong. And so it's the backdrop. And they put the asterisk on it, warm it up a little bit.
Warming it up just like Robbie.
Wow, listen to that thing. That's majestic.
Yeah.
That's a 38.
Forever.
So after tour is going in the house?
I'm gonna wake my kids up with that shit in the morning.
I love it, man. 50-inch gong, Robbie. Can you imagine that?
I thought he said it was a 38.
No, he was talking about that. The 38's not what you want. You got to have this 50-inch one. They had the 50-incher behind him there. That's crazy. Wow, huh? And he talked about the warming up of the gong, just like you were teaching others about the warming up of the gong.
Bigger the gong, the more you have to warm it. Yeah.
There you go. Amazing. So something else. So thank you, Robbie, once again for joining the Music is Therapy show, for sharing your story with the rest of us. And yeah, don't forget to catch Johnny's show where Robbie's doing the KRAMER thing. And I don't know, I wonder how long you guys are going to keep that going, because, you know, at a certain point, I think, you know, people might get bored of that. I don't know. But I hope not. I hope you're, you know, still going to be out there sharing your knowledge, whether it's on Johnny's channel or doing it yourself. You can even, you know, who knows if you ever wanted to do that.
I don't really have any plans of
aspiration. Yeah, it's a lot of time and energy to put things together, and you guys don't know. It does take a lot of time and energy to put shows together and stuff. And Johnny Beane has been doing that out there. Johnny Beane has been doing that out there for a long time. And thank you, Johnny, as well, for all that as well. And everyone for coming. Don't forget to hit that like if you haven't already. I got 2 from Facebook. That's cool. It shows me right there. And if you want to support this channel, you're welcome to. I'm not asking you for it. I'm lucky to have what I have, you know, and I'm happy to pay for it on my own and all that too. But it's appreciated, obviously. Like Mike, you know, we used to call him Mike, China Mike, but, you know, Lance is actually the same name as mine. Laszlo in Hungarian, Laszlo translated to the English is Lancelot. Did you know? So Mike and I shared that same name, Lance. Mike would say, you know, always appreciated but never courted. And I hope this show grows. Help me grow this show. If you guys are appreciating this Music is Therapy show and you'd like to have some other topics about this, or if you want to tell your story, or you want to talk about another story that inspired you, that's musical in nature, then let me know. Let's talk about it on the show. Next week, I'm not sure how it's all going to work because we're going to be down at a wedding, and Sunday we're going to be driving back home. But if there's some way I can pull off a live stream on Sunday, it might be while we're driving. And we might meet up with Johnny, or maybe we'll do a live stream of some sort with Johnny down in LA. We might meet up with Amanda Peters if that's possible. I do have some things to deliver to her. So if you're ready for that, Amanda, that'd be great. And yeah, everybody check out OU812 show. Michael B also has an awesome channel. Michael, let's get together and we actually talked early on about doing a show together. So if you'd like to come on the show and tell us your story, that would be an awesome story to hear. Michael's also a talented musician and songwriter as well. And he also sings and plays, which I can't do. So awesome, you guys. So thanks again for coming. Rock on. Until next time, you guys, you know, the secret to tone is in your mind, but the feel comes from your heart. Like Robbie, put it together with gongs, musical instruments, teeth, whatever you got, and make some music, man.
Raven, anybody that wants to play my music can. It's just for anyone, and there's no monetary stipulations or anything like that. Just take it and run with it.
Well, I say what you ought to do, what I was going to say earlier when you said this, is if you do want to have some control on how any of that money is used, maybe it could be used to help people that have arthritis and other ailments that we're trying to find a way to solve, get solutions for.
If you accept money, then that is going to be income. That's going to screw up the cost of my medication. Right.
So then don't do that. In other words, maybe in Robbie Stingle's name, donate to some charity that Robbie might support. Robbie, do you have any charities you support? I support the MS Foundation. I also support Guitars for Vets. There's all kinds of other ones out there that I'm supporting the Ukrainian fund through Doctors Without Borders, $15 a month, every month since that horrible war started. So there are a lot of things you can give to. I give platelets and blood regularly. So if there's anything that you can give in Robbie's name, I'm sure, Robbie, you would appreciate that, right?
Well, I haven't really been able to because, I'm pretty tight.
Right. No, I'm saying like if someone sends you money, you send it friends and family. It's not you're not paying Robbie for anything. You're just donating something to him for what he gives to the world. And if there's a charity that you love, Robbie, let people know what that charity might be, and they can give to that. And that way, your name, it's in your name. And
it's hard. It's hard for me to answer because I lost both my parents to cancer, my uncle to cancer, my sister died from COPD. And cancer research.
There you go.
It's like banging your head against the wall because I at least I've had just terrible experiences with that disease. I don't see anything good come of it. Arthritis is horrible too. I'm glad that I have medication so I could do what I do, even if it isn't all that. I miss playing golf. I can't do that anymore. I could barely.
Oh, dude, I've been getting into golf. That's what Brent and I found as something that we both appreciate. His grandfather actually created a device. He could tell you about that. So him and his brother actually have a business of sorts running the thing that his grandpa invented. I love golf. It's such a wonderful experience to go spend a half day or a whole day out there on the grass and hit a white ball trying to get it into the hole. But it's really that, again, hanging out with your friends connection kind of thing. But the striving for something that's a very difficult thing to control and do is the challenge. Yeah.
I tried to be a golfer and failed miserably. It's so much harder than you think. I could go out there and I could shoot like 68, on a local course.
Wow.
And that if you want to be a professional golfer, you have to be able to shoot like 62, it's a lot harder.
I don't even count, dude. I don't even count. I'm not even at the level of counting. I'm lucky to choose the right club to get it up and down. I can do I'm pretty good on the green at times, and I've gotten a little bit better with my long ball, but the bottom line is that I don't even have clubs made for me. So, basically I just have a set that I bought from Brent's grandpa, who some friend of his was retiring from golf, and I got it at a really good price, a couple $100 for a set of clubs and a bag and balls and this, that, and the other thing. And we go out and whack around at the little white ball. But bottom line is that we play best ball, so that way we're not taking up the whole, course for the whole day. And it's a lot of fun. Just getting out there, it's great fun. Yeah.
Well, you know me, I had Hogan plays, right? And I decided that
Yeah. Oh, dude, Hogan's one of my heroes too. I love that guy.
it's not the club, it's the person.
Yeah, you're right.
I learned how to hit the ball. I curve it one way, curve it other, curve it go up or down. It was all like, everyone, well, this is forgiveness. This will go straighter. I'm like, nah, you're the problem.
We should talk golf. We got to talk golf off air. So thank you everybody for coming. I got to end the show because it's went easily 2 hours. So 1 extra hour, which Robbie deserved. I think Robbie deserved that extra hour. And until next time, you guys, rock on. And, if you can't be good at it. That's the best I have for you.
Rock on!
Wrong button.